IIT University Vellore, Dr. Geoff Harry, Executive Vice President, ASCSB and Chief Officer for Asia Pacific, Dr. Prashant Bhalla, Treasurer, EPSI, and Ms. Amy Memon, Regional Head, South Asia, ASCSB. ASCSB is a global non-profit association. Established in 1916, it has 1,700 B schools around the world as members and 890 accredited B schools in more than 100 countries. It serves 4 million students. EPSI, established in 2005, serves the broad spectrum of higher education institutions in India as the only industry body from the private sector. More than 300 private universities, 500 top B schools, and 5,000 colleges are its members. The theme of this today's virtual conclave is Indian B schools navigating a sustainable future by merging local and global best practices. There will be 5 interactive sessions today and tomorrow, which will be addressed by 20 B schools stalwarts from India and abroad. A unique feature of this conclave is inclusion of recruiters and students in the speakers list. I am delighted to acknowledge the support given by Harvard Business Publishing USA, Graduate Management, Admission Council USA, MBAUniverse.com, Business World, and NHRDN. Let me now invite Dr. Prashant Bhalla for a brief welcome address.
Thank you, Chaturvedi. Delightful evening to one and all present here. I feel humbled and privileged to have amongst us the very revered His Excellency Honorable Vice President of India, Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, most respected Professor Anil Deshpande ji, the Chairman of AICT, esteemed Dr. Geoff Perry, the Chief Officer, Asia Pacific ASB, Dr. G. Vishwanathan, the President of EPSI, our own Dr. H. Chaturvedi ji, Ms. Amy Memon, the Manager of Accreditation Services, ASSSB, International Singapore. The stalwarts from the world of business, academias, industry leaders, people from press and delegates, I offer my earnest greetings and on behalf of EPSI, extend my heartiest welcome to the esteemed dignitaries present here today. Prior to COVID, sustainability typically focused on environmental issues such as plastic waste, carbon emissions. But the pandemic has broadened the public's perspective of sustainability to include people, workforces, educational practices, and others. Aligning the endeavors of EPSI with the noble vision of our Honorable Prime Minister, local lead, global reach, the 2-day conclave shall witness some striking conversations with 193 governments coming together to agree a common framework to tackle 17 major world issues by 2030. We believe that this August gathering is a noble step in this progressive direction and would help us achieve the global goals. In the year 2020, organizations were forced to not only think about how to survive and thrive in the new reality, but also how to reimagine their delivery models and how to measure and maintain productivity in a highly remote environment. EPSI is taking up issues on behalf of the academic world with government and industry for quality education delivery and employability. In the present circumstances, it is the need of hour to reinvent the management education to address society's biggest challenges and develop a sustainable future. At this forum today, I would like to acknowledge and congratulate EPSI and its team members for their persistent and unparalleled efforts in the direction of curating higher benchmarks in quality education globally. I, on behalf of the entire managing committee, welcome the very revered His Excellency Venkaiah Naidu ji, Honorable Vice President of India, and all the esteemed guests to the B Schools Leadership Conclave on navigating a sustainable future by merging local and global practices, and hope that the deliberations and addresses during various sessions during the course of 2 days will add immense value to each one of us present here. My best wishes to everyone who has gathered here today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant Bhalla. Let me just share some of the very important data about our President, Dr. G. Vishwanathan, who has been in public life for more than 60 years. He has been a student leader in 50s and 60s. He was elected twice for the Lok Sabha, the lower house of Indian Parliament, and he set up one of the first engineering college in southern part of India at Vellore. Later it became a deemed university, and now he is a president of EPSI, leading it for last 10 years, and he is credited for internationalization of India's engineering education, higher education, and he is very passionate about higher education and its quality issues, autonomy issues. Over to Dr. G. Viswanathan for his introductory remarks.
Our Honorable Vice President of India, Sri Venkaiah Naidu Garu, Guest of Honor, Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Chairman AICTE, Dr. Prasant Balla, Treasurer, Dr. Chaturvedi, Alternate President of EPSI, Dr. George Perry, Chief Officer of Asia Pacific AICSB, Mrs. Ami Mem, Regional Head of the South Asia, Manager of the Accreditation of AICSB, other important speakers in the panel, and other participants. Very good evening to you. EPSI is working for the last more than 15 years in India and helping the Ministry of Education policy making and developing a broad consensus on many issues being faced with Indian higher education. You may be aware that when the NDA government came to power in May 2014, our Honorable Prime Minister has given us a dictum: maximum governance and minimum government. It meant that the desire of all-round improvement at all levels in government and significant improvement in the delivery of government services. The Ministry of Education is trying to do this. I am sure the education policy, new education policy, which could fulfill the dreams and aspirations of our young generation, which could ensure an uninterrupted supply of talented manpower to our industry, which could support our endeavors of reaping benefits out of the demographic dividend in the coming decades. Indian higher education is a feeder to the workforce needed for the future success of Make in India. It's also a condition to make our country the human resource capital of the world in its truest sense. My sincere thanks to the Honorable Vice President of India, who has given his consent in spite of the pandemic situation as this B-School conclave for choosing an apt theme. I think it will be a precondition of making in India the HR capital of the world. Accreditation is a review process for colleges and universities that evaluates and monitors the quality of an institution's degree granting programs. At all levels, accreditation can make a difference in the quality of degree received as well as a graduate's job prospects in future, career advancement, and overall potential. National or regional business school accreditation assures students that an institution of higher learning adheres to high quality standards based on the latest research and professional practice. An accredited institution must continue to demonstrate at regular review cycles that is developing and growing, not just maintaining existing standards. In short, there are two types of accreditation: institutional and specialized. And I think both of them, all the institutions would like to have both. AICSB, as it was pointed out, has 1,700 member organizations and more than 800 accredited business schools. Colleges and universities assert that accreditation helps shape and guide the continuous quality improvement of their institution and academic programs. Accreditation's unique external peer review process provides insight, feedback, and recommendation on goals, policies, and plans to fulfill educational missions and enhance academic quality. Accreditation can also help institutions to make judgments about accepting academic credit from other colleges and universities. The federal government and the public rely on accreditation for quality assurance, as the federal government created new federal benefit programs in the form of grants and loans for veterans and college students pursuing higher education. It sought a mechanism or system to assure the quality of institutions where students were spending their federal funds. To accomplish this objective, the federal government deferred to an existing system, accreditation, to delegate the role of quality assurance and ensure that the students are only using their federal funds at credible, legitimate, and quality institutions. To earn AICSB accreditation, schools must demonstrate their program's quality through a rigorous internal assessment and a recurring peer review process conducted by teams of educational experts. Once confirmed, accreditation stands as an extremely validated hallmark of this excellence of 5 years until the school undergoes the renewal process. By choosing AICSB accredited school, students can be confident that their college or university offers high quality academic curriculum and they are taught by outstanding faculty, and there is meaningful interaction between students and professors, and the graduates have achieved a specific learning goals. In addition, the schools will continue to go through an external continuous improvement and quality assurance review process to ensure the curricula is effectively managed and is consistent with the business school's overall mission, stated mission. I hope that today and tomorrow's deliberations of the EPSI National Conference will lead to develop a comprehensive document on implementation of the internationalization of the Indian higher education. It should chart out a clear future roadmap for attracting students from abroad and also guide the outbound flow of Indian students for higher studies. In the era of globalization, we cannot remain aloof from the global trends in the mobility of students. We need to make our country an active participant in the global education. I would like to thank the Honorable Vice President of India and the Chairman of AICT for accepting to be with us. And I also thank the officials of AICSB for making it possible to collaborate in this leadership conclave. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir, for your introductory remarks. Before I invite Dr. Job Perry, I would like to share a brief profile of him. He has been a senior management academician in his country, that is New Zealand, after devoting several decades in management education and having led some universities and B schools as Vice Chancellor and Dean. He has joined AICSB last year in the early January, and I met him in the month of February or March before the COVID started, and I requested him that AICSB should help the Indian B schools for greater internationalization and exchange of best practices. On our suggestion, he has agreed to work with Indian B schools, and AICSB has joined hands with EPSI for organizing this conference and also one panel discussion which was held in the month of November 2020. So over to Dr. Job Perry, who is the Senior Vice President of AICSB International and Chief Officer for Asia Pacific region. Dr. Job Perry.
Thank you, Dr. Chaturvedi. Vice President, the Honourable Sri Venkaiah Naidu. Chairman of AICTE, Dr. Anil Sasrabudi. President of EPSI, Dr. G. Vishwanathan. Co-host, Dr. Chaturvedi. Treasurer, EPSI, Dr. Prashant Bala. Sponsors, special guests, guest speakers, panelists, and attendees, including, importantly, students. On behalf of EPSI and AICSB, kia ora, and welcome to the inaugural session of the Indian B Schools Leadership Conclave. Given the ongoing COVID-19 challenge currently, as organisers, we appreciate greatly that you are attending this conference and wish everyone all the best as we deal with this health crisis. I would like to thank the VP, the Vice President, for opening this conclave, and the Chairman of AICTE for speaking today. Also, thank you to the sponsors for your support. Thanks to the speakers and panelists for your involvement. And particular thanks to the team at EPSI for your wonderful collaboration and work in organising this wonderful event. As has been mentioned, I am the Chief Officer Asia Pacific for AACSB, and I have the pleasure of working with my team based in Singapore, Mumbai, and Shanghai. AACSB is the world's oldest, largest, and most prestigious business school network, and as has been mentioned, with over 1,700 business school members globally, including close to 900 accredited business schools. In India, we have 14 accredited business schools, several in process, and 70 members in total. AACSB's mission is to engage with business schools and higher education authorities across the world to transform business education for positive societal impact. In other words, we see business education and business as a force for good in society. This conclave is exceedingly important, and exceedingly important for us at AACSB for three reasons. Firstly, it provides AACSB with the opportunity to be included and be involved in an event that brings together key stakeholders in India to share ideas and discuss the role and future contribution of business education and business schools in India at a time of change, both in the higher education policy framework and also in broader society. Secondly, our vision is that AACSB fosters engagement, accelerates innovation, and amplifies impact in business education. Our view is that Indian B schools have a major and unique contribution to make to this and the world of business education. And this conclave provides us with an opportunity to further connect Indian B schools into the global business school ecosystem. Thirdly, AACSB's approach to accreditation, clarified in our 2020 standards, is that it is mission-driven and principles-based, which ensures it can recognize quality in many different forms, in many different environments. It is a framework that all quality B schools, including Indian B schools, of course, can utilize to advance, to create quality, and to have a positive societal impact, given their mission. This conclave gives AACSB the opportunity to further our engagement on this with Indian B schools. So it really is my pleasure to be involved with EPSI in hosting and organizing this conclave today. So again, welcome all to this conclave, and I, as I'm sure all of you are, looking forward to the sessions to come in this conclave. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Job Perry. And we proceed further. We are grateful to AICT Chairman Dr. Sas Budde for having agreed to deliver the special address. Dr. Sas Budde is alumnus of BBB College of Engineering, Hubli, Karnataka, and also Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, from where he has done masters and doctorate. He has devoted more than 20 years for developing technical education in northeastern part of this country. He has been working with NARIST, Arunachal Pradesh, and IIT Guwahati, and he has also headed a very innovative engineering college of Maharashtra, that is College of Engineering, Pune, from 2006 to 2015, and to 2015 onwards, he is the regulator of technical education, which comprises both engineering, management, and some other disciplines. As a regulator, he has earned his reputation for believing in light but tight regulation. And he has been very supportive to the institutions which are trying to raise the quality of technical education. And the four keywords which every time when he is working or speaking are notable. These are communicate, innovate, teamwork, and the wide use of technology. Over to Dr. Anil Sas Budde.
M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, Dr. Geoff Perry, Chief Officer Asia Pacific AACSB, Dr. Vishwanathan, President EPSI, Dr. Prashant Bhalla, Dr. Harivansh Chaturvedi, Ms. Amy Memon, directors, deans, heads of the management schools, faculty members, and most important, students of B School. Greetings from AICTE. I am delighted to be amidst you during this third EPSI's B School Leadership Conclave in association with AACSB in this online mode. So important during the present worldwide COVID pandemic times. Well, the word VUCA has been well known from 1987. Incidentally, AICTE was also established in 87 during the VUCA phase of technical education in India. And today, sustainability is another buzzword. VUCA stands for volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And quite often I say, let us flip these alphabets from VUCA to reverse ACUV, and then A for acceptance of the existing phenomenon of COVID, attitude being positive, C for collaboration, cooperation, and commitment. And if you all work with unity of action and unstinted support, I'm sure we will all achieve victory, that is victory over COVID-19. Last 1.25 years has taught us many lessons, especially in the domains of education, healthcare, economy, transportation, maybe supply chain, human relations, among many others. Online has become the order of the day. Those who were prepared could launch themselves into action immediately, but others also struggled slowly and steadily and caught up. Education, and particularly professional education, including management education, which rests on strong human-to-human interaction, hands-on work, both in the classroom and outside, be it immersion programs, internship programs. They had to reconfigure themselves in teaching learning processes, pedagogy, and innovate to keep themselves afloat and relevant. Use of technology has become dominant. In the midst of all this, new national education policy has come in India, approved by the Union Cabinet on July the 29th, 2020. There are many firsts in this policy, while there is a reinforcement of some of the ideas of the past. Multidisciplinary education, flexibility, multiple entry and exit, academic bank of credits, teaching in mother tongue, even in higher education, inculcation of values, pride in our ancient Indian wisdom, student-centric approach, teacher education, internationalization, foreign institutions being permitted to operate from India and Indian institutions operating abroad, twinning programs, dual degree programs, focus on innovation and research are some of the salient features. There is continued emphasis on the mantra which we have been continuing, access, equity, and quality, and autonomy, with the new mantra of affordability and mandatory accreditation being added to it. Examination reforms, good governance, and regulations being flexible, light, and self-disclosure based. These are all important parameters which have come in the new education policy, and these have opened new avenues for those who perform and excel. And our Honorable Prime Minister quite often says, reform, perform, and transform. And I think that reform process is in. Even the use of words, I will mention that earlier we used to call some of the districts which were very poor, backward, as backward districts. Our Prime Minister calls them as aspirational districts. The people who are physically, challenged, they are called now Divyangas. The use of words, that itself is very, very significant in terms of the way governance takes place, how we attribute different empowering mechanisms. AICTE on its part had initiated many reforms before even the NEP was announced. The idea of graded autonomy. That means for well-performing institutions, give freedom. They can fly and soar greater heights. Of course, during this pandemic, we have learned use of technology, but this was started long ago. Use of what is known as MOOCs platform, 20% of the credits being allowed to be taken from the MOOC, use of LMS, YouTube, internet, AI-based personalized learning tools through what is known as NEET platform of AICTE, and reinventing oneself is an ongoing process. For management schools, there is ample opportunity to create what is known as case studies. Management education rests on case studies. And these studies can be on the basis of happenings that are happening around the world during the COVID times, particularly in India and its response, be it labor movement, upgradation of healthcare system at short notice, testing, isolation, quarantining, online education. There were lots of jobs, but readjustment and creation of new jobs, humanity being at its best, helping each other, providing food and shelter, medicines to the needy. The lot of activities can go on. Skilling, reskilling has also been an important area. Many children who were expected to go to the schools are not able to do. They are not able to play. They are not able to laugh as earlier. So there have been problems of psychological requirements and counseling. How all of the management schools can boost our economy through entrepreneurship, through startup ecosystem, particularly social entrepreneurship in the manner that both creation of jobs happen and also social good is achieved. New programs have been launched and faculty training in these areas is a vital thing. For example, AICT has started off teaching faculty members in AI, IoT, machine learning, deep learning, robotics, 3D printing, data analytics, cyber security, cloud computing, quantum computing, blockchain, cryptocurrency. These are all big, new emerging areas where there is a requirement of huge manpower and training of faculty, and then in turn, training of students is already happening. Mandatory faculty certification program is also in place with 8 modules. Now, the new mantra in the COVID times and beyond COVID times is caring and sharing. Collaboration with computation shall become the new order. Universal human value-based education has already commenced. The 17 Sustainable Development Goals, importance of respecting nature, environment, has become more crucial than ever before. On one side, becoming self-reliant, Atmanirbhar is important, but interdependence cannot be wished away. Hence, Honorable Prime Minister often talks about global. India has developed 2 vaccines which have been supplied to many nations of the world in the true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, that is, world is one family, and Sarve Janaha Sukhino Bhavantu, let everyone be happy. All these ethos have to come in our management education, and we need to share these with the global community. Learning, lifelong as well as from each other, is always an important aspect, which is more so during this pandemic times. The best practices from AACSB, who have an experience of more than 100 years, also needs to be practiced by our Indian B schools. May all of us take further steps in the direction of reforms, perform and transform, and let us all survive this pandemic and start the business as usual at the earliest. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Dr. Sasmudre, for delivering this very thoughtful special address. Before inviting the Honorable Chief Guest, I would like to share some facts about the distinct contribution of Mr. M. Venkaiah Naidu ji in the national life. As you know that Honorable Sri Naidu is the 13th Vice President of India. As Vice President of India, he also presides the upper house, that is Rajya Sabha, as its chairperson. So he is one of the top 3 national leaders, President, Vice President and Prime Minister. He is widely respected as a statesman who has sagacious wisdom, wide knowledge and great prowess in public speaking. He speaks in several languages, including English. Born in 1949 at a village in Andhra Pradesh, deep south, he hails from a farmer's family. He has risen from the ranks. During the student life, he was a popular students leader and became president of the student union of his college as well as university. He has worked in state politics initially and was elected to the state assembly thrice. He became All India President of the current ruling party, the Bharatiya Janata Party, in 2002. He has been elected to Rajya Sabha 4 times. Twice he has been Union Minister and held several portfolios. He has deep interest in higher education and rural development. His speeches delivered in several universities, colleges, and in important conferences have been published in book form. Now let me invite the chief guest, Honorable Sri M. Venkaiah Naidu ji, to deliver the inaugural address for Indian B Schools Leadership Conclave.
Namaskar, Dr. G. Viswanathan, Dr. Anil D. Sahasrabudhe, Dr. Jeff Parikh, Dr. Harivamsh Chaturvedi, Dr. Prashant Bhalla, Ms. Sami Memon, Vice Chancellors, Deans, Principals and the professors from various institutions, my dear students, distinguished guests, and others who joined the event virtually. It's a matter of great pleasure for me to inaugurate this two-day conclave of Indian B Schools leadership, jointly organized by ASCSB, USA, DPSI India, on a theme of great contemporary relevance. Indian B Schools navigating a sustainable future by merging local and global best practices. The fact that more than 20 thought leaders, deans, directors, and policymakers are addressing this conclave virtually showcases it as an excellent opportunity for leaders of Indian B Schools to learn some local and global best practices for managing business education. Needless to add, our B Schools play a very vital role in our economy and society because future managers, leaders, and innovators are groomed and trained here. Friends, I compliment the AACSB and EPSI for their initiative in organizing this conclave despite the grave challenge posed by COVID-19 pandemic. I sincerely hope that this conclave will facilitate the merging of India and global best practices in management education during these turbulent times and in post-pandemic times as well. For decades, in the post-independence era, India relied heavily on US institutions like Harvard and MIT. But one of the heartwarming features of recent times is that hundreds of top management faculty members in USBS schools were born and educated in India. I find this to be an excellent example of interdependence between the two largest democracies of the world in forging an academic partnership, which would in turn provide a constant flow of talent to spur innovation, entrepreneurship, and economic growth around the world. My dear friends, as we are aware, this COVID has impacted education in a big way globally, forcing educators and students alike to adapt to the online mode. Business schools worldwide have also had to make this transition to a virtually online mode of teaching and learning. While teachers and students are accustomed to the virtual mode of interaction, this rather dramatic shift has posed several challenges for them on many fronts, mainly because of the exclusive nature of contact. Students are detached from familiar patterns of academic interaction. They can no longer experience living with a community of learners and instructors. I'm certain that the faculty members of these schools aim to empower learners as well as co-creators in their own development. In doing so, they would be mentoring rather than lecturing and will guide more than instruct. Even in the virtual context, learners need to experience navigating their way in the way normal and learning critical thinking and independent decision-making skills. I'm sure, my friends, India has more than 3,400 business schools with an enrollment of around 1 million students. However, according to Indian Skills Report 2020, the employability of MBA graduates stands at 54% in the country. It's an imperative that our B schools think of our ways of bridging the earning gap between enrollment and employability. As you are aware, increased interaction between academia and industry is a prerequisite in terms of exposure to real life situation and hands-on learning for the students. In addition to futuristic skills, the B school should also focus on enhancing soft skills of students, which form an integral part of the overall makeup of a successful manager. The 5 interactive sessions of this 2-day conclave are likely to cover a lot of meaningful academic ground. I'm sure the discussions will center around many important issues faced by the educators in B schools in India and elsewhere in the world. I'm happy that this conclave will deliberate the theme of overreaching significance, navigating a sustainable future. It's very important to ensure that our pursuit of development does not degrade and pollute our environment. Development should not come at the cost of environment. As a result of global warming, the world is witnessing increasing frequency of extreme climate, which inevitably impact business as well. Therefore, the world needs to transformational business managers who can look beyond short-term profit margins and work for long-term sustainability. I'm happy to note that many B schools are making sustainability an integral part of their training and curriculum. It has been my firm belief that education must be socially relevant. We know that agriculture still remains the mainstay of our economy. I would therefore urge the bright young students from India's premier management institutions to visit nearby villages, study, interact with the farmers, and identify rural India's business as well as social problems and come up with viable solutions to make agriculture more sustainable. In conclusion, I would like to add that young managers should have a larger vision of nation building through businesses. Building character, imbibing values, and inculcating empathy in budding managers should be the priority of our business schools for a better and happier world. I hope that Indian Business Schools Leadership Conclave 2021 will deliberate on all these issues and open new vistas for providing solutions to various challenges being faced by humanity. I'm happy that I'm able to participate in this conference and inaugurate it. I hope that these 2-day deliberations will be meaningful and you will be giving the needed advice to the students who are all studying the business management. My best wishes to all of you for a successful conclave. Thank you for Viswanathan ji and other friends for taking the initiative and also inviting me for this conference. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. We are grateful to you for finding time today to inaugurate this conclave. Your words of wisdom have provided us to think about charting out a sustainable future. And your presence and your thoughts will definitely guide us finding the right path in management education. So we are closing the inaugural function. But before that, I will invite Ms. Amy Memon to present words of thanks. On behalf of the organizers, over to Amy.
Thank you so much,